Holy Tube, this is Judging Game 44 here. This is Judging Game 44 here. Oh, wait, I already said that, sorry. But no, I want to talk about, today we are here to talk about Date A Live. I got to be honest, I really don't know how to really review this. I have tried this a few times, and to be honest, I think I'm just going to go over what I personally just think about it. Well, if you really want to know the basics about Date A Live, it's about really avoiding Cheetah with all these girls and everything. Just so you know, Date A Live is, well, it says it itself, date. This is a dating anime where all these girls basically are like supernatural beings known as spirits. They can cause space earthquakes, they can shapeshift their clothing and everything. That's what we were able to see. With all these fancy armors or dresses they're wearing, they can cause these big explosions. The story is about basically 30 years ago. There was this big massive space earthquake, which is basically a giant purple black explosion that killed over 150 million people. Ever since then, that massive crater has still stand, but a big city has made it. Which, to be honest, I am kind of curious. Ever since then, they've always been keeping the town there, a new brand new town, where every time there's another small space earthquake, it's not as big as the one before, but it's a very small one compared to the very big one. The space earthquake basically happens, everyone runs into a shelter where buildings go underground, everyone goes on the ground, and it's really surprising in a way, but to me, I'm kind of wondering if these are just happening in one city, why doesn't the whole town just move so they don't have to worry about it? Right? But still, other than that, that's basically what the story's about. But all these girls are basically interesting. I have already watched season 1 to 3 we were able to get. I haven't seen the movie, but I already heard what it's about. It's interesting. So, why don't we start with the beginning one? The first spirit is basically Tokuri, Toka, or well, Tama, that was the idea name, but that did not happen. Okay, so if you're wondering, Toka is basically like a calm, focused girl who basically is wondering what is going on in the way, but it's just pretty much calm throughout the whole entire thing. Until and later on she quickly becomes more cheerful and happy. She questions why are humans so awful creatures and everything every time she appears in this world. And pretty much she eventually figures it out what's really been going on, and she becomes this more happy, joyful girl quickly. And honestly, I really do like her. I love her design, her appearance. And she's basically a nicknamed princess, but to be honest, she looks like more like a warrior princess, if you ask me. To be honest, that would make sense. It was actually an interesting thing with her. Yoshina is basically a small, quiet girl who is very shy and uses her puppet to talk instead of her. She's very scared, quiet, she can form ice. I really do like that about her. She is actually one of the most cutest ones since she's a little cute girl. Girl, blue hair and everything. As for Kumine, Kumine is the third spirit we see, which to be honest is actually my favorite spirit. Well, interesting actually. I love the design and everything. I love what we kind of know about her so far, but we want to know more about her. She can basically manifest time and everything with one of her eyes. She can summon a giant clock. And really, she's this interesting character you just want to know about more. She starts off as like a villain, but now she's kind of helping out Shido here and there. But she does come out, but she's not like hanging out with the group or anything. But the next spirit we see after that is basically the Yamai sisters. Well, okay, no, not really that. We actually get Kotori, if I'm right. Kotori is where she's basically Shido's little sister, and she actually was a spirit, a human, but was turned into a spirit 5 years ago. It was an interesting idea how I saw her as. She's actually the leader that's been trying to help find other spirits and actually trying to actually save them and everything and actually steal away their powers. Shido, the reason why he's dating all these girls, he wants to help them all. He's a very kind kid who is about 16 years old. Like when I make him a teenager. But still, the way how he is, I do kind of feel sorry for him. He has to deal with all this drama with the jealousy of the girls and fighting over him. And honestly, they are all very nice. To him in a way. Oh, what dang. All these girls, can you just really imagine how nightmare that could be when you see Shido's life with them? Why did I have to be put into this? That's how I can feel Shido has. But seriously, Shido basically has the ability to seal away their powers, which prevented them from using space earthquakes. Although their powers are really not that sealed, they can actually still use them, but not at the full extent. When they try to go transformation to their armor, their clothes are actually technically mixing whatever they're wearing with. From a little piece where you basically see a little bit of their armor looking form to where they fully start manifesting it all out till it completely appears. And I honestly think that at the end of the season, like they can all pretty much manifest their whole entire armor out and have to be more stronger like that. But still, Kotori was basically, and in a way to steal them, he basically had to get them to fall in love with them in a way, or get them to trust him enough. Where then he only has to do is kiss them, and then they pretty much go fully, that. Their powers are sealed up. Okay, embarrassing. But basically, Kumine was never actually able to steal away. And just like, Kumine and Kote, something like that. Omagami, a spirit, a human, she does eventually become a spirit. And her backstory, I gotta admit, she's actually a really interesting character. At first, I thought she was an android because how she acted. She acted like a robot in a way. And not gonna lie, she kind of reminded me of one of the characters from Yandere Similar, where the common focus from one of the science club, and way back when we thought there was a rumor if you saw one of his videos that one of the students were a robot, he made a joke of. But no, besides all that, they were all interesting characters as the story goes on. The next spirits we got were actually the Yamai sisters. They were an interesting thing. What goes on in their story is that Shido found them while they were middle of fighting. They really did look different from the other spirits. The spirits we usually seen before were all wearing like these big dresses or somewhat like a dress and everything. These spirits really were not wearing anything like that. They had a completely different design look. And honestly, they look really good. Can't deny that. They basically have been challenging and fighting each other throughout so many centuries. It's been pretty much a draw with all of them. They each have won like around 25 matches and have been a draw at 49. The last one, their 100 contest, will be their last final challenge, decide who will be Yamai's heir and everything. Which, if you're curious, they basically were one spear, but for some unknown reason they were split in two. I don't really think we're ever going to get a chance to know that since half their character arc is over, at least I think. I do think we'll get a chance to know more about them, but not like we're going to find out how they split or something, or if they will ever become one again. I did kind of thought that at first, but then no. Shido basically actually helps them eventually, though they can both exist together. And really, they actually do really care about each other, but the way it did look like at first, they looked like they just hate each other and wanted to become Yamai's heir. But they really just wanted to have been together, really, or wanted the other to win. It was honestly an interesting thing. Next one is, and honestly, personally, one of my favorites besides Origami is Mika. Mika is actually a really interesting spirit to me. I love her design. Her looks are amazing. And I love her power she has. She has the ability to sing. And actually, it's more than just good singing anime voice. It's basically where she can actually talk to people, like if she tells someone to jump a cliff, they'll do it. Okay, no, she never actually done that, but that's basically what the point she does. She basically tells anyone to do what she wants them to do, and they'll do it. Shido, though, doesn't have that, is immune to that type of stuff. And it's possibly not Kotori, sorry. Toka is also in a way, but not like that much. She can summon a big organ, and my god. And wow, she actually did try to kill Shido when she found, like, Shido basically had to dress up as a girl because Mika had a personal thing just liking girls. That was actually kind of an interesting idea for a challenge, so Shido had to dress up as a girl thing. It was really funny and everything. But as the time goes on with Mika's story, though, yeah, as besides all the liking girls thing, we found out what was like Mika's backstory, which I actually found really interesting. And I honestly found her big reveal at how she really felt like when we thought she was going to die by Toka. Which, if you're wondering, that's a completely different story what happened to Toka. But really, it was an interesting like when I saw her, like what was going through her head, what she was thinking about herself. It was honestly really interesting. Shido actually saved her, and she realized that she was wrong about him. And actually started to like him in a way. Even start calling him darling. Anyway, at the end of that, her powers got sealed as well. And while all these girls are now following him around, it was really interesting. Now, as the story basically goes on with them, Shido basically then goes to this magician witch girl, And I found her funny. She was like basically a cartoon character. Like she can make things into like cartoon physics with her powers. Like she can make missiles into like carrot missiles that are basically like you would see something in old style cartoons. Boom, boom, boom. She was honestly kind of funny, but then she got mad. I thought she was going to turn out to be ugly, but as it turned out, she was like a young little girl who disguised herself as a grown woman, trying to get attention from people and everything, and was really always insecure. Like she always kept like thinking like, oh, what if this person's thinking me like this? Like they don't like me that much, or they think I'm ugly because I look like this. Honestly, it was a really interesting thing, but dang, she was honestly just a small little girl. I think she's around the same age as Yoshina. Or Yoshina? It's the puppet's name. Their names are similar, actually. I can't really get their names right. But no, she turns out to be an interesting character, and I kind of like how we find out about something about her. I do like that. Omagami. Now, Omagami was personally one of the interesting ones besides Muka. I mean, Muka, Omagami, Konmei are the ones I've been mostly focused on. Kote, sorry, these names are sometimes hard sometimes to all memorize together. But Kote is also a spirit I'm also focusing on. And like, there are many things about these spirits we don't know about, and I am looking forward for season 4. But Omagami was the interesting one. 5 years ago, a spirit actually killed her parents and everything. She's been looking around to find the spirits who killed her parents. And ever since then, she became a spirit later on, which was an interesting thing. I was curious to know why that happened. And whoever the person was, why was she turning people into spirits? But when Kotere came in the picture, it was honestly getting interesting because then at a time, she was able to go back in time using Kumei's help, and wow. 5 years ago, it was her that killed her parents. Time loop. Okay, I got to admit, I like the idea, but I personally found it. Wait, what? To me, I always believe when something like that, there has been something that caused it. Like, did someone else cause the time loop at first? First, like, did someone else kill her parents and then she actually caused the time loop or something? Like, I was kind of wondering, like, it was because of that spirit or something. I don't really think that is the case, though. I think it's going to be like that. But basically, she was able to help her and everything. And actually was able to get through to her, which I really love the scene. We got to see more of her emotions come out. We got to see more of her anger or her sadness. And really, it was really nice, because throughout most of this, she was kind of mostly like a robot that did show little emotions at time to time. She did truly like Cedo. I do like that. Now, besides all that, we got one more episode, and well, ever since season 2, in the middle of it, Shido has been starting to be able to use powers from the other spirits he's been able to steal away. As it turns out, when they get sealed away, they go into him in a way. He's able to use the sword, the ice abilities, and by every time he ever steals up Kumei's powers, he'll finally get that one-eye clock eye, I guess. Now, I gotta admit, basically, it's where they all have to go on a date with him, and they all have to steal up his, because now it's backing up too much, and now they have to like try to get it properly flowing. Okay, I got to admit, this was just one interesting anime. It was funny. It was kind of like fandom with for a lot of guys that like watching this, or a lot of girls. I really did not know what I was expecting when I first watched this. I thought it was something completely different at first, but dang, I was wrong about that. But no, seriously, I personally think that it is a really good anime to watch. I like the story. I like how things play out here. I like Toka, who was honestly one of my favorites. Yoshina, like each spirit has their unique thing with them. I have to give them that. Shido, Shido, I personally do feel sorry for, because he has to deal with all these girls being jealous or get mad at him for liking a different one. Although I think it's Toka he mostly likes. And there's a lot of other things with this anime I didn't really talk about. Like, I know I probably should have, but I really did not know how to review this, like, talk about each spirit individually. Like, should I have made a separate video talking about, like, a few of the episodes? Like, I really didn't know how to do this, really. That's why it did took me so long, and I'm sorry this video took so long to come out. But for real, I do hope you all did at least enjoy this video. But until then, this is Judging Game 34 signing out. Until then, I'll see you all later. Bye!